Hey, welcome to a first, what we hope to be a long series of play videos. This is what we're going to roughly call a brew down. A brew down is where I and Logan are going to build decks and play them against each other. Later, there will include other people playing. So right now, we're going to start off with a pre-release version of brew down. You can see in front of us, what do we got?
Let's see. We have 3 pre-release kits. This is Outlaw. This is Bloomburrow. And this one, I'm just going to have to take a look
Modern
at.
3.
Modern 3.
Modern Horizons 3. So we got Outlaws of Thunder Junction, Bloomburrow, and Modern Horizons 3. And when we do these in the future, we'll have some different ones. We've got a few older versions that we can do. We got a few newer versions. So one of the things we'll be looking for in the comments is, hey, which pre-release you want us to build off of. What's the premise? Well, we're going to choose one of these. Which one are we going to choose?
Let's go with Bloomburrow.
All right. And away they go. All right. So we're going to take the Bloomburrow. We're going to open it up. We're going to look at all the cards. And then we are going to build decks off the same card set.
All right. See you in a little bit.
Myself and Logan are going to build individual decks separately, and then if possible we're going to play them against each other. So if you would, Logan, go ahead and let's see what we've got. This is a Bloomburrow. So we're opening up Bloomburrow that I picked up at a local game shop. Wouldn't you know it?
Opening is always the hard part. Oh.
Nice pictures of different animals.
Pass that to you.
All right.
Slide a dice over to you for you to knock out.
We have a purple and black dice. I like this one already. In case you guys want to see that, there we go. There's a big argument about whether these spin down counters and the natural D20s will actually roll right. I think for my purposes, especially in Magic, spin down and a D20 are interchangeable. So.
Got my 3 packs. Here are 3 packs for you.
All right. What we're going to do is we're going to open 2 packs at a time. He's going to open one. I'm going to open one, and we'll be putting the cards down right here.
Then,
all right. Now we got the pre-release card that we get. We'll see what that is.
It's Valley Quest Caller.
What does a Valley Quest Caller do?
Is a 2/3, 1 and a white rabbit warrior. Whenever one or more other rabbits, bats, birds, and or mice you control enter scry 1. Other rabbits, bats, birds, and mice you control get +1/+1.
Okay. I think I've seen that one played a few times.
Nice little anthem.
For rabbits, bats, birds, and mice.
Conduct electricity. 4 and a red. This deals 6 damage to target creature and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature token.
High Stride. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains reach till the end of turn. Untap it. It's an instant for 1 green.
Not bad. Here's a Dagger Fang Duo for 2 and a black. It is a 3/2 Death Touch. When it enters, you may mill 2 cards.
I've got a Thought Shucker. He's a rat rogue. He has Threshold with 1 colorless and a blue. Put a +1/+1 counter on him and draw a card. Activate only if 7 or more cards are in your graveyard and only once. So it's a 1-shot, add 1 to it.
Not bad. Here's a Sticky Tongue Sentinel for 2 and a green. It is a 3/3 Reach. When this enters, return up to 1 other target permanent you control to its owner's hand.
Bounce a permanent. Intrepid Rabbit. Rabbit Soldier has Offspring 1. And we all know what Offspring does by this point. Basically, you make a nice little token copy of it. When this creature enters, target creature you control gets +1/+1 till end of turn. And he is a 3/2 himself. It's 1 white and 2 colorless.
Here's a Water Sprout Warden for 2 and a blue. It is a 3/2. Whenever this attacks, if another creature entered the battlefield under your control this turn, this gains flying until end of turn.
All right, I got my first Mouse Matters card. Might of the Meek. It's an instant for 1 red. Target creature gains trample until end of turn. It also gets +1/+0 until end of turn if you control a mouse. Mouse Matters. Draw a card. So get a buff and draw a card. Replaces itself.
Here's a Bravekin Duo for 1 white. It is a 1/1. Pay 1 and tap. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery.
Now we've got a Thornplate Intimidator, 3 colorless and a black rat rogue, offspring 3. When this creature enters, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card.
A 3-tree mascot is 2 colorless. It is a changeling for 2/1. You pay 1 to add 1 mana of any color. Activate only once each turn.
Now I've got a Squirrel Raccoon coming in, a Baker's Bane Duo. So I guess that's what, the squirrel and a raccoon. It's two of them. 1 colorless, 1 green. When Baker's Bane Duo enters, create a food token. Whenever you expend 4, Baker's Bane Duo gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Comes in as a 2/2. I guess that's a 1/1 for each of the 2 creatures on it.
Not bad. Here's a Pond Prophet. Is a 1/1. Is a dual color, so you can pay green or blue. And when it enters, you draw a card.
All right, I've got a Hidden Grotto. It's a land. It's going to be a filter land, among other things. When this guy comes in, surveil 1. I can tap it for a colorless, or here's the filter capability, 1 colorless and tap it for 1 of mana of any color. And that's my last common. So we should be moving on to uncommons now?
Yes, uncommons. A Curious Forager is a 2 and a green. When this enters, you may forage. When you do, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand.
Feed the Cycle. Instant. Has an additional cost to cast this spell, forage, or pay a black. Its original cost is 1 colorless, 1 black, and it's an instant that destroys target creature or planeswalker. Another kill thing.
A Quake Tusk Boar for 3 and 2 red is a 5/5 with reach, trample, and haste.
Got our first, at least my first gift card. Long River's Pull, 2 blue, and I mean literally blue. Instant, you can gift a card, and it counters target spell. If the gift was promised, instead counter target spell. I'm sorry, it's counter target creature spell, and if you pay the gift, it's counter target spell. So give somebody something, and you get to counter anything.
This is a Rabid Gnaw, 1 colorless and a red. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So a better version of fight.
Shriek Force, 2 colorless and a white. Bird Knight. It has flying, it has double strike, it has vigilance, so it's a 1/3. Not bad. I could see that in my Blue White Flyers deck.
Honestly, that one's not bad. Wear Down, 1 and a green. Gift the card. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. If the gift was promised, instead destroy 2 target artifacts and or enchantments.
Sinister Monolith, 3 colorless and a black. It's an artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Tap, pay 2 life, sacrifice this thing, draw 2 cards, activate only as a sorcery. So I can keep it on the battlefield, drain you guys some, and then when I need cards, get rid of it.
Here's a Emberheart Challenger. Is a 1 and a red for a 2/2 haste prowess. And then it has whenever this becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, exile the top card of your library until the end of turn. You may play that card.
Warren War Leader, 2 colorless and a white for a Rabbit Knight. It has offspring 2. Whenever you attack, choose 1. Create a 1/1 white rabbit creature token that's tapped and attacking, or attacking creatures you control get a +1/+1 till end of turn. Can you tell if that's a red or a gold? It looks red to me.
That is a red.
All right, that was a mythic.
Then I have an island. There's Pringer's Mountain, and I will see you a Sticky Tongue Toad Sentinel again.
Heirloom Epic. It's an artifact. 4 draw a card. 4 tap, draw a card. For each mana and the ability's activation cost, you may tap an untapped creature you control rather than pay the mana to activate the sorcery.
And then for my last card is one of the arts.
Token for Crag Flame. It's token legendary equipment, so I'm assuming something in this deck makes those tokens. Not this deck, this set. So that is the first 2 packs of our pre-release. 1 colorless, 1 red instant. Take out the trash, does 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control a raccoon, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
Alright, here's a 1 blue Shore Up. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Untap it.
Ravine Raider, a single black. Lizard Rogue. Menace. 1 colorless, 1 black. Ravine Raider gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's a 1/1 to start with. And then there's no tap, so that you can do that multiple times.
Here's a Warren Elder for 1 and a white. It is a 2/2, almost the same ability. For 3 and a white, creatures I control will get +1/+1 until end of turn.
Longstack Brawl. Again, a single, but this time it's green. It's a sorcery. Gift a tapped fish. Okay, give them a creature. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If the gift was promised, then those creatures fight each other. So it's a fight card, and with the gift, your guy gets a +1/+1 counter, I believe is what that said.
Alright. Sazar's Caps Brew. And I know I said this name wrong and I apologize. It is a 1 and a red for an instant. Gift a tapped fish. As an additional cost to the spell, discard a card. Target player draws 2 cards. If the gift was promised, target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn.
Finch Formation. Blue. It is 1 blue and 2 colorless. Bird Scout, Offspring 3. It has flying, and when this creature enters, target creature you control gains flying until end of turn. It's a 2/2. So if you play the Offspring, 2 creatures you control get flying.
Here's a Nocturnal Hunger for 2 and a black. Gift of food. Destroy target creature. If the gift wasn't promised, you lose 2 life.
Crumb and Get It. Single white mana instant. And you can gift a food if you'd like. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If the gift was promised, that creature also gains indestructible until end of turn.
Here is a Druid of the Spade for 2 and a green. It is a 2/3, and as long as I control a token, this gets +2/+0 and has trample.
Seed Pod Squire. 3 colorless and either a blue-white split, so you can either pay a blue or a white. It's Bird Scout flying. When the Seed Pod Squire attacks, target creature you control without flying gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's a 3/3.
Here's a Whisker Quill Scribe for 1 and a red. It is a 2/2. Whenever this becomes the target of a spell or ability I control for the first time each turn, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
Backform Harvester, artifact creature shapeshifter for 3 colorless, changeling, so it's everything. It's got reach, but for me the most important thing is for 2 colorless mana, put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library, and it's a 2/3.
Here's a Tempest Angler, 1, and then the dual mana again for blue and red. It is a 2/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Stormcatch Mentor, 1 blue, 1 red, so it is a multicolored card. Otter Wizard, haste, prowess, instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less colorless to cast.
Here's a Hoarder's Overflow. Is a 1 colorless and a red. It's an enchantment. When this enters, whenever you expend 4, put a stash counter on it. You expend 4 as you spend your 4th total mana to cast spells during a turn. Pay 1 in a red, sacrifice this, discard your hand, then draw cards equal to the number of stash counters on it.
Harvest Right Host, 2 colorless and a white, Rabbit Citizen. Whenever Harvest Right Host or another rabbit you control enters, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Then draw a card. If this is the second time this ability is resolved in a turn, it's a 3/3. For those that like rabbit decks, there you go.
Here's an Eddie Merck Crab, 5 and 2 blue. So 7 CMC. For a 5/5 with Flash, this spell costs 1 colorless less to cast for each instant sorcery card in your graveyard. This enters tapped if it's not your turn. When this enters, tap up to 2 target creatures.
It's a Lupin Flower Village. It can tap for a colorless, or you can tap for a white and spend that mana only to cast a creature spell, or you can spend 1 colorless, 1 white, and tap Sacrifice the Village. Look at the top 6 cards of your library, put a bat, bird, mouse, or rabbit into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library.
Here's a Paw Patch Formation, an instant for 1 and a green. Choose 1, destroy target creature with flying, destroy target enchantment, draw a card, and create a food token.
I've got a Seasoned Warren Guard, single white rabbit warrior. Single white to cast, it's a rabbit warrior creature. Whenever the water guard attacks while you control a token, he gets +2/+0 to end a turn. So he's a 1/2. So if you got a token, he buffs.
An Osteomancer Adept, which if I mispronounced, I apologize, is 1 in a black. For a 2/2 Death Touch, tap until end of turn. You may cast creature spells from your graveyard by foraging in addition to paying their other cost. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it.
Starfall Invocation, 3 colorless, white sorcery. You can gift a card, destroy all creatures. If the gift was promised, return a creature card put into your library this way to the battlefield under your control. So it's a board wipe, and you get to bring 1 of your creatures back.
I have a Mythic. Maha is Feathers Knight for 3 and 2 black. It is a 6/5 with flying and trample. It has Ward of discard a card. Creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1.
I got a full art for us.
Well, I will raise you a swamp.
My foil card is a Daggerfang Duo, 2 colorless, and a black rat squirrel Death Touch. When it enters, you may mill 2 cards. It's a 3/2.
I have a Head of the Homestead for my foil. It is 3 and then the multicolored of green and white. For a 3/2, whenever this enters, create 2 1/1 white rabbit. And your final card?
Got a rat.
A rat. And I have a Manifold Mouse token creature, mouse soldier thing. Is a 1/1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target mouse you control gains your choice of double strike or trample until end of turn. And there's a little note. This token's mana cost is 1 in a red.
And why would that be important to actually have a mana cost on a token? Well, the reason is that if you were to have something destroy something with certain mana cost or less, this token here does not have a mana cost, so if you destroy it on a 0, where this one takes a 2.
Okay.
All right, 3rd pack each, so this is a total of 6 packs in this pre-release. So far, so good. 1 dupe is all we've had so far. Now watch this entire set be nothing but dupes on us. Wouldn't you know it? And the only land we're missing, basic land, full art so far, is the Plains.
All right, I will kick us off. A Kindle Spark Duo for 2 in a red. It is a 1/3. I can tap this and it deals 1 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, untap it.
Sunshower Druid, Frog, Druid. 1 single green. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and gain a life.
Here's a Glide Dive Duo for 4 in a black. It is a 3/3 flyer. When this enters, each opponent loses 2 life and I gain 2 life.
Dazzling Denial. 1 colorless, 1 blue. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If you control a bird, counter target spell unless its controller pays 4.
Let's have some Treetop Sentinels come in for 3 and a... Is a 3 and a green for a 2/4 with reach. When this enters, you may forage. If you do, draw a card.
I think we got a reprint here. Vanishing Light. I've used it many times in other decks. When Banishing Light enters, exile target non-land permanent as an opponent controls until the Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. It's a 1 white, 2 colorless.
Here's a Mind Spiral for 4 and a blue. Is a sorcery. Gifted Tapped Fish. Target player draws 3 cards. If the gift was promised, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it.
Frilled Spark Shooter, 3 colorless and a red. Lizard Archer. Menace Reach. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it if the opponent lost life last turn. I mean, this turn, not last turn, this turn.
This turn. Here's a Wax Wane Witness for 3 and a white. It is a 2/4 with Flying Vigilance. Whenever you gain or lose life during your turn, this gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
Starlit Soothsayer, 2 colorless and a black. Bat Cleric has flying. With a bat, I would expect flying. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost life this turn, surveil 1. 2/2.
A Gate Assault is 2 and a red. Sorcery, choose 1. This deals 4 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Or exile target artifact.
Nettle Guard, 1 colorless, 1 white. Mouse Soldier. Sacrifice Nettle Guard, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and it's a 3/1. It also has Valiant. Whenever Nettle Guard becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, it gets +0/+2 until the end of turn.
Here's a Light Shell Duo. It is a 3 and a blue for a 3/4 prowess. Light Shell Duo enters Seville 2.
Cindering Cutthroat, 2 colorless, and then a split red-black Lizard Assassin. It has 1 and then split black-red again. This guy gets menace until end of turn. He enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it if opponent lost life this turn. So this is one that's got a split here and a split down there.
Here's a Veteran Guard Mouse for 3 and then a split of red and white. It is a 3/4. Whenever this becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, it gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Scry 1.
Brambleguard Captain, 3 colorless and a red. Mouse Soldier, at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is this guy's power. Because he's starting as a 2/3.
Here's a Starscape Cleric for 1 and a black. A 2/1 Bat Cleric with Offspring for 2 and a black. It has flying. This creature cannot block, and whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life.
Starseer Mentor, 3 colorless, a white, and a black. So we got a gold bordered card. Bat Warlock, Flying Vigilance at the beginning of your end step. If you gained or lost life, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card.
Here's a Reptilian Recruiter for 3 and then 2 red. 4/2 of Trample. When this enters, choose target creature. If that creature's power is 2 or less, or if you control another lizard, gain control of that creature until end of turn. And tap it, it gains haste until end of turn.
Honored Dray Leader, 2 colorless and a green. Squirrel Warrior has Trample. When another squirrel or food you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on the Dray Leader. When he enters, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each other squirrel and or food you control.
Here's a Splash Portal for 1 blue. Sorcery. Exile target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. If that creature is a bird, frog, otter, or a rat, draw a card.
Feather of Flight, 1 white, 1 colorless. It's an enchantment aura. It has Flash, enchant creature. When Feather of Flight enters, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. So you can flash it in, give somebody flying real quick.
Here's a Valley Might Collar. It is my rare. It is 1 green. It is a 1/1 with Trample. Whenever another frog, rabbit, raccoon, or squirrel you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
My rare is a reprint. Fabled Passage. It allows you to go fetch a land, a basic land, and if you have 4 or more, it comes in untapped. Otherwise, it comes in tapped. So,
Well, I have found our plains.
all right, add an island. I do like the full arts they put into these.
Yes, they do look nice. My foil is a Stargaze X Black Black. Look at twice X cards from the top of your library. Put X cards from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You lose X life.
I believe this is one that you had earlier, the Kindle Spark Duo, because it can tap for damage and untaps under certain conditions, but mine's a foil.
Yes, and then here's my art.
Oh, here's my art. Let's look at the back real quick, and it's a Psychic Whale. Think that way? We'll put it down that way then, because I can't tell. Well, that is all the cards.